This week on Culture Q, The Sims get more inclusive.
Republican lawmakers get schooled.
And we kiki with Billy Porter. What is going on? Is Anna the one here?
And I'm Shira Lazar. This is Culture Q.
And here's some of the highlights from this week in queer culture. Here's the thing. When life gives you the demolition of Roe versus Wade, we suggest you make your own utopia. In The Sims, that is. Yes, that's right. For the last 20 years, The Sims has allowed us to create worlds where things go our way. Since its arrival, The Sims updates have provided more customizations to make every game a personal experience. The Sims 4 now continues their tradition of inclusion by adding a mod that will allow you to choose different pronouns, gender expression, and even sexualities. If you didn't know, The Sims 4 has a code that is constantly evolving. The game developers actually worked with GLAAD and It Gets Better project to create the ability for players to choose their romantic and sexual attractions. And you'll have the option to choose between being attracted to one, many, or no partners, which allows for polyamory, aromanticism, or asexuality. And because the changes are still being made, you can't yet assign attraction to non-binary people, but it's something developers are working on at the moment. And while we may have to wait for The Sims 5 for the full updates, we're glad to see such a beloved property take action around representation.
If you haven't been keeping up with the news lately, there's been a big debate on the definition of a woman. And 3 male Republican lawmakers who seem to think they knew the answer were beautifully re-educated. First, during a House Oversight Committee hearing, Republican Congressman Andrew Clyde from Georgia had a question for National Women's Law Center CEO Fatima Goss-Graves. He wanted to know, what is a woman?
Since you are the president of the National Women's Law Center, I was hoping that you could define what a woman is for us in this committee hearing.
Goss-Graves began her reply carefully since she knew that could be a setup.
I am a woman, that's how I identify.
Okay.
But I wonder, however, if in part the reason that you're asking a question is that you're trying to suggest that people who
I'm
don't
simply asking
identify
the
as
question
women
and I
can't
simply
be
want an
pregnant.
answer.
Now, you may have missed it due to Clyde's rude interruption, but Goss-Graves began to sense the obvious issue at hand, saying, "You're trying to suggest that people who don't identify as women can't be pregnant." And of course, the conversation went downhill from there, with Clyde basically wanting her to deliver an elementary school biology lesson, instead of actually understanding the facts at hand. Is anyone else tired? And then during a U.S. Senate hearing on abortion access, Senator Josh Hawley went on to question UC Berkeley law professor Kiara Bridges about who can actually give birth.
You've used a phrase, I want to make sure I understand what you mean by it. You've referred to people with a capacity for pregnancy. Would that be women?
And Bridges gave a pretty succinct answer.
Many women, cis women, have the capacity for pregnancy. Many cis women do not have the capacity for pregnancy. There are also trans men who are capable of pregnancy, as well as non-binary people who are capable of pregnancy.
Well, that didn't seem to be enough, and Hawley then used the argument that is basically transphobic and discriminatory, trying to divide the interests of different groups impacted by the overturning of Roe v. Wade. And Bridges was quick to correct him.
We can recognize that this impacts women while also recognizing that it impacts other groups. Those things are not mutually exclusive, Senator Hawley.
Oh, so your view is that the core of this right then is about what?
So I want to recognize that your line of questioning is transphobic, and it opens up trans people to violence.
You heard her, Senator Hawley. He later posted an edited clip on his page, causing his followers to rebrand the incident into a win for him. Yes, a win, if there was an award for gaslighting.
This year, Outfest celebrated its 40th anniversary in the heart of downtown Los Angeles. The opening event, complete with red carpet and stars alike, celebrated with the opening night of Anything's Possible, the new Amazon Video debut directed by Billy Porter. From the writers to even actors on screen, the excitement could be felt all around.
Okay, I want to see this movie by Billy Porter. You know, I think that trans stories are something that a lot of people aren't really exposed to a lot yet, and we need to see more of that. We need to understand that we have a lot of things in common, whether or not you're in the community.
Honestly, I'm excited to watch people watch the movie, you know, kind of see their reaction, see if they love it as much as I know me and the team does. And just see a movie I wrote on the big screen is really crazy for me.
Art at the end of the day is something you share, and I'm excited to share this. The only time I've seen it, I was seated alone in a screening room, and it was beautiful to like celebrate everyone's work, but I'm really excited to like share it with other human beings.
Even cast member Kelly Lamore Wilson was over the moon to have Outfest back in person, just like the rest of us.
And I'm just excited for this festival that celebrates individuality, brings forth this light of being yourself and being your authentic self through and through. I just think that's brilliant.
Shea Diamond also graced us with her presence. The soulful singer played a significant role in the production itself. She had the chance to collaborate with songwriter Justin Tranter, who has worked with the stars like Britney Spears and more, for an exclusive track on the film with Porter himself.
This movie is a big deal, not just because we were a part of the soundtrack and Shea gets to sing the end title as a duet with Billy, but it's a big deal because it's a teen trans rom-com starring a black trans woman.
Tonight, you have a lot of feelings and emotions. What's going through your head right now?
Gratitude. Really grateful to be here, have this voice, have this piece, you know, sort of entering the world, you know, with such love. I'm just grateful.
This is the 40th year of Outfest. How do we keep supporting queer media like this?
One of the things that you can do is really just like support your local queer film festivals. Outfest is part of a organization called NACFA, and there's lots of queer film festivals around the country, so you can support them that way. But also just like go see the films.
You know how to support? We got to keep showing up, and we have to give love to all of the things that exist. We have to come together, and we have to be in the same, you know, we have to be in the same vibration. We have to love on each other and not tear each other's work down.
But of course, the conversations about anything goes didn't just stop on the carpet. We also got an exclusive chat with Billy himself. Anything's Possible follows Kelsa, played by the always lovely Ava Raine, as she navigates love and friendship as a trans woman in high school. The film is a diverse and charming romantic comedy that touches the hearts of many with inspiring music soundtracks, a relatable cast, and a powerful and engaging message.
What did you call her?
You are my exceptional daughter, and what is unique about you does not make you hard to love.
The film was co-produced by legends like Christine Vachon at Killer Productions, David Hinojosa, DJ Guggenheim, and Andrew Lauren. When it came to taking the project to the next level, they immediately thought of Billy in the director's seat.
So their belief in me started with the phone call that I got of them sending me the script and seeing if I would be interested in directing it. It was like, oh, okay. That was really encouraging. You know, it really was the thing that really helped me believe in myself.
And of course, one of the things that makes this film so compelling is also the outstanding cast. Rain and co-star Ollie's chemistry is infectious, and it's easy to fall in love with them as they fall in love with each other. And while many headlines say this is Porter's directorial debut, he was quick to correct that.
Let's be clear. I have directed in the theater for over 20 years. And I think one of my superpowers is casting. You know, 90% of your job is casting. When you cast the right people, you don't have to do much but say, just do what you do, babies. Do what you do and make mama look good.
And what's unique about this film is that it's a simple coming-of-age story about someone's trans identity whose life is not defined by that. Those stories are important and have their place, but also so do feel-good rom-coms.
You know, when you think about somebody like Kelsa, she's transgender, she's black, she's out in high school. I was black and gay and out in high school in the 80s. You know, so I saw myself in these kids. I saw, you know, their courage, their tenacity, their demand for respect.
Porter has always been a trailblazing inspiration, and he's got a pretty good idea of what he'd like the future to look like.
You know, my hope is that the impact will be a fire under our to engage. Because Frederick Douglass said over 250 years ago, eternal vigilance is the price of liberty. Get vigilant. Get vigilant.
And of course, you cannot argue with that. And if you want to check out Anything's Possible, you can stream it right now on Amazon Video.
You know, we've got some great titles to show off here on Revry, and here are some from this week's streaming guide you need to check out. Giddy up with Queens and Cowboys. Roping and riding across North America, the International Gay Rodeo Association's courageous cowboys and cowgirls brave challenges both in and out of the arena on their quest to qualify for the World Finals. The film tells the story of 5 members of the IGRA, from Wade Earp, a descendant of cowboy legend Wyatt Earp, and one of the best competitors on the circuit, to Shar Duran, a female bull rider who's never won a buckle but seems determined to die trying. The film weaves the stories of its protagonists over the course of an entire year. It's an unprecedented look at the strength it takes to be gay in the rural West and explores the many struggles threatening the IGRA and the gay community at large, plus how far we've come and how far we still have to go. In Steam, the musical, Lance loves the Old West even more than he loves his boyfriend. He lives out his fantasy by working as a conductor and tour guide on the historic Abercorn and Copperton Steam Railroad. When his train gets robbed, Lance comes face to face with the kind of man he thought to be extinct, an outlaw. Lance chases his mystery man into the night, hoping that catching an outlaw will satisfy his constant thirst for adventure.
Deep in an old abandoned mine, 6 feet below.
Finally, the award-winning Eat With Me. It's a charming comedy drama about a mother and her gay son who heal, connect, and grow together as the son's Chinese restaurant faces foreclosure.
You're a cook, but you don't cook. How can you eat that stuff at the restaurant? No wonder you don't look very good.
Mom, everything is fine.
This charming film stars Teddy Chen Culver and Sharon Omi. It also features a terrific performance from Nicole Sullivan as Elliot's hilarious neighbor, and a special appearance by the one and only George Takei. You can check out these titles and so much more right here, right now on Revry. We all know the fight for LGBTQ rights around the world is a constant uphill battle, and in some areas it can be dangerous or even life-threatening. But this NGO is fighting fire with art. In Africa, queer identity is illegal in over 20 countries. Near Morocco, which used to be liberated and gay-friendly, rights have become more and more limited. And that's why the work that Majudin is doing is so important. Director Asiya JB partnered with the LGBTQ rights group to create Tunisia's first ever LGBTQ play. It tells a story that JB describes as a reality we pretend not to see, and covers LGBTQ issues, but also other problems facing those living in the region. Problems like police and judicial corruption, and the loss of citizens leaving to seek greener pastures. Tunisia is actually one of the more liberal countries when compared to others, but they still have 3-year prison sentences for sodomy. President Kais Saied has shared he is opposed to jail terms based on sexual orientation, but he doesn't feel that homosexuality should be fully decriminalized. Well, the good news is that the play has been received well, and this gives the LGBTQ community in Tunisia the strength to keep fighting. It is so incredible to see what individuals are doing around the globe, and we are sending them so much love and much needed continued support. And with that, that's all for this week in Culture Q. I'm Cheryl Lazar.
And it's Andy Luani signing out.
Thanks again for hanging out with us this week.
And be sure to join us every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, live and always on demand, right here on Revry.